All right, do we have Wi-Fi access? Welcome. I'm Rob. I do news commentary. I call it newsmentary, but I comment on the news. Hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. Join me 5 days a week. That would be weekdays. And let's comment on the news. And I think if a few more people hit subscribe, we have cracked 2,000 community members. I'm very excited about that. That's a cool moment. Cool moment in time. 2K subs. So I did a live a little bit earlier, but my internet was not connecting. It was lagging. So here I am, because there was stuff I did not get to discuss that I feel is very important. And if you're new here, I like to link everything I plan on talking about down in the description. Speaking about down there in the description, hit that little subscribe button, and then after it turns into a notification bell, hit that, and you'll get notified when I go live. All right, so there's a lot of stuff in the news, a lot. But one thing I like to focus on that is some good news is watching Eddie Vedder play in somewhere, Pennsylvania. I don't believe the town's called somewhere. I just don't remember the town. And it's a 14-minute video, which is pretty radical. Because not only does Eddie Vedder take a stand with Neil Young, Taylor Swift, and a long list of musicians, but in this video I linked down below, you can watch Eddie Vedder speak out about the things that are happening here in America. And just as cool, Eddie then goes into Neil Young's. He does a cover of Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World. And then he brings a bunch of people out on stage, which I'm guessing they were backstage, maybe family or something. And you get to watch Eddie Vedder dance with these little kids. It was the most adorable thing I've ever seen. Well, I've seen some adorable things, like kittens. Kittens fighting, like they were in some kind of kitten fight club. But this video I linked down below, I highly encourage everybody to watch, because if watching Eddie Vedder dance on stage with a couple of young kids doesn't make you smile, then I don't know if there's hope for you. It was just absolutely something else. It was a cool moment. And I don't know if they were his kids, the band members' kids, just random kids. It didn't matter. It was cool, and I can only imagine, well, unless they're his kids, but I can only imagine those kids being like, on Monday at school, did you see me dancing with Eddie Vedder? People be like, or the other students being like, who's Eddie Vedder? But if this was 1994, the cringe Rizzler Queen. Hello, Boston, obviously, Joe. I am talking about Eddie Vedder. Do you know who Eddie Vedder is? This is the weird point of my live stream, where I say a name like Eddie Vedder and people maybe don't know that it's Pearl Jam. And then I say a band like Pearl Jam, and they're like, oh, is that a new SoundCloud rapper? And I go, no, that's a band from the 90s. And then I realize I'm ancient. I'm an old fart. Just got here. No worries. I'm just cringe Rizzler. I'm not saying you don't know of these. Just a lot of the times, I feel like when I'm talking to people about bands of the 90s, artists of the 90s, they'll be like, who? And I go, oh, God. Oh, the 90s was so long ago, and it hurts my heart. But let me bring everybody back. Okay, you know that band. Good. And if you don't know that band, here's a great recommendation for you, Pearl Jam. Go listen to any song. Alive, Go, Animal, I don't know, Elderly Woman in a Coffee Shop Down by the Border, or whatever they call that song. Put on some Pearl Jam today in solidarity with Eddie Vedder, Neil Young, Taylor Swift. There's a bunch of other artists that are they're speaking out against Trump and the disappearance of due process. Not only is this regime disappearing people, they're disappearing due process. And if anyone, not just American citizens, if anyone in this country, anyone that's in this country is accused of something, they don't get due process, guess what? You don't get it either. And I posted in the community post an easy Pearl Jam 10. Oh, 10! Yes. Whole album. Alma, good to see you. And hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm almost at 2,000 community members, subscribers, family members, people of the coalition. join us. What am I doing in the car? I have to do a bunch of stuff, Cringe Rizzler, which, by the way, that is the most Gen Z name. Is it Gen Z now? On YouTube that I've ever seen. That is so funny. That cracks me up. The Cringe Rizzler Queen. It makes me feel old. It's so cool, though. But that is the absolute, that is the crowning jewel of this generation. The Cringe Rizzler Queen. I can't wait until they start naming kids Gen Z. Like, not Generation Zoomer, but just calling kids Gen Z. Like it was a first name. I just subscribed. Awesome. You might be 2000. And if you are, as long as we didn't fall back a few, YouTube does this weird thing where it tells me I have this many views, this many subs, and then I look like an hour later and it's all gone. I'm like, why did you get my hopes up, man? Don't do that. But thank you for subscribing. I'm here every weekday doing live streams. If you like kittens, I post videos of kittens. Come for the kittens, stay for the political chat commentary. So Pearl Jam, let me bring back to 1994, okay? I believe Kurt Cobain was about to or had just passed away. A real one, unicorn. We miss you, Kurt, greatest artist of all time. Kurt and John Lennon, right there, side by side. So back in 1994, my sister's having a baby. That's awesome. Congrats. That's amazing news. That's good news going into the weekend. You're about to be an uncle. So I'm bringing you back to 1994 to understand the weight of Pearl Jam. Because there are people, believe it or not, in 2025 that say, I liked Rage Against the Machine before they were political. And if you know anything about 90s music, a lot of it was heavily influenced by politics, and it was very political. A lot of it, okay? Even the band Chumbawamba and their hit Tub Thumping. Chumbawamba has an anti-Nazi song, or as you might know the term, Antifa, anti-fascist. Chumbawamba. I get knocked down and I get up again. Look up their Nazi song. They have a song against Nazis. But the 90s birthed a lot of political animosity in music. And in 1994, Stone Gossard and Jeff Clement, I believe that's their names, in Pearl Jam testified before Congress. So Pearl Jam was politically active back in 1994, testifying before Congress about the monopolistic tendencies of Ticketmaster. What do you know? Here we are 10, 20, 30 years later, and Ticketmaster's still having a monopoly. But they tried. Pearl Jam tried, and God bless them for doing it, because they had a microphone and they used it for good. And they tried. And they were trying to testify, Pearl Jam, and I linked a video down below. They tried to testify to stop Ticketmaster from being a monopoly and raising ticket prices so fans could just go see shows. You just want to afford to be able to see your favorite band. The Cringe Rizzler Queen. Are you a Christian? If you aren't, even if you are, God bless you. And God bless you too. I believe in Jesus. Christian comes with a weird, heavy weight nowadays because there's a lot of Christians who don't believe in Jesus, but they say they do, and they pull their crosses out and then they do anti-Christ type things. I remember that Pearl Jam versus Ticketmaster. I feel ancient too. Alma, after this live stream, go to the description. I linked a video of the MTV News segment covering Pearl Jam testifying before Congress in 1994. So if you go back 31 years, Pearl Jam was politically active, trying to fight for the people, which that's rad. That's rad. No matter how you cut it, that is cool that they did that. They wanted their concert goers, their fans, to be able to afford ticket prices, so they testified before Congress against Ticketmaster being a monopoly and being able to set whatever price they wanted to enrich themselves. Here we are 31 years later, and it's still going on, you know. Taylor Swift's now joining the fight against Ticketmaster. But anyways. So now we go to modern day. And just the other day, Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, Stone Gossard, Jeff Clement, and the other guys, I don't know who the other two are. My apologies to them. Seriously. I know if I heard their name, I'll go, yeah. I'm a Nirvana fan. Pearl Jam is like a secondary. You always put them on, can listen to their albums incomplete, but Nirvana through and through. And Tupac, as you could tell. Uh, but now, Eddie Vedder in Pennsylvania is taking a stand against Trump, against the eradication of due process in America, the Donald regime, the deficit Donald tariff Trump regime, going after people for free speech, going after people for critiquing, opposing, dissenting against him, which that's what made us the land of the free. All these free speech absolutionists are nowhere to be seen when the regime goes after people who critique them. And I've reported on this. There are so many different, I mean, Harvard's one of them. ABC, NBC. I just reported ABC president told the ladies of The View, Whoopi Goldberg, to stop talking about Trump. That was in the news. I mean, this regime, you know, something's shaking on Shakedown Street if the government is going after every organization that reports on them. And that's what's happening here in America. And Eddie Vedder, God bless him, in Pearl Jam, took a stand against it, spoke out on stage. I linked the video down below. Including a strike that impacted Joe Butler. That's a long comment about issues at Newark Liberty International. The state has been dealing with natural disasters. Joe Butler will say this. What terrifies me right now is that we're in like tornado season, and usually, you know, that's terrifying in itself, tornadoes. But the fact that people continue to rebuild in Tornado Alley is bewildering to me. But my heart goes out to them because with this regime eradicating all the weather services and laying off hundreds, if not thousands of people, stuff's going to get real bad and we're not going to hear about it. And that's a real scary thing because you need to know when communities are impacted or if the storm's coming for you. There's just so much wrong right now. And those were our tax dollars at work, making us safer, protecting us. But what I'm talking about is Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder on stage, taking a stand with Neil Young, with Bruce Springsteen. And then Eddie Vedder, after he says, you know, this is not the land that you claim to love if due process is gone, if you can't speak out against tyranny, this is no longer America. Well, he says it in more eloquent way, so I highly recommend you watch the video that I linked down below. See it for yourself. Watch it with your own two eyes. That's what I always encourage people to do. Watch Eddie Vedder take a stand, but more importantly, or just as importantly, watch Eddie Vedder after go into Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World and dance with a bunch of people on stage, handing everybody tambourines. I thought Eddie Vedder is such a rad human. And I also always wondered, do people call him Ed? He doesn't seem like an Ed, but I mean, at this age, Vedder's got to be up there. I would imagine people more seriously in his life probably call Eddie Vedder Ed. I don't know. Is that a dumb question to ponder? If I ever get the chance to interview him, if I ever get on radio again, I don't think he does a lot of radio interviews. I would just love to say, do people call you Ed? Or do they tease you by calling you Ed? Do they call you Edward? Or is it just Eddie? Weird question, but I need to go. We are going to Yellowstone. Oh, congrats. Be safe, have fun, look for wolves. Hopefully the wolf population has reestablished itself there. And please don't pet a buffalo. Unless like some park ranger, if there's even park ranger. Hey, report back. Let us know if there are still park rangers in Yellowstone. Another terrifying thing this regime wants to do is sell our public lands to private companies. Imagine Yellowstone brought to you by Meta and you have to go into the metaverse and pay a huge fee to get in there so Mark Zuckerberg can own more land. I mean, it's just, folks, we gotta come together. We gotta come together and say we will reject this. We gotta stand with Eddie Vedder. But I really wanted to talk about this. I know I went live earlier, so this is just a brief one, but I wanted to point out that Eddie Vedder on stage, taking a stand against Trump, standing in solidarity with Bruce Springsteen, Neil Young, and so many more artists. A list below if you want to read about the artists that have gone after this regime for using their music. And I thought it was cool. And I also wanted to ask, where's Dave Grohl? Where are the other musicians that have a platform, that have an amplifier, that have a microphone, that have a speaker? Where are they? Because it would be real cool if they started speaking out right now before, you know, it gets much worse. So watch these videos down below. If you've never seen the guys from Pearl Jam testify before Congress, I linked the MTV News cast of it. MTV News, whatever happened. Is that still a thing? It's probably not a thing. And if it is a thing, it probably just reports on like Teen Mom 4. We got to bring MTV News back, just like they did in Portlandia. And then check out Eddie Vedder talking on stage. Cringe Rizzler Queen, thanks for stopping by. Alma, Joe Butler, good to see you guys. And hit subscribe, and then it turns into the notification bell. Hit that so you can join me every weekday when I comment on the news and bring you some hopefully new ways to think about things. We need to have this discussion, folks. I'm old enough where I can pull you aside and say we need to talk. We need to have a discussion about the way things are going right now. It's not looking good for the worker. All right? And hit subscribe. Almost at 2,000 subs. And if we cracked it, then thank you so much. Thank you for being part. Bring back Kurt Loder. Yeah. And Matt Pinfield is still doing some work. I think he had a cancer diagnosis, but I think I don't know if he beat it. I wasn't following along, but I just know Matt Pinfield was still out there. But yeah, bring back Kurt Loder. And what was the girl's name? Oh my, Kennedy. Alma, we're showing our age, right? Oh, good God. So I'm ending the live. Go check out this newscast of MTV News covering Pearl Jam testifying before Congress in 1994. Know your history, folks. All right, much love, much respect. Peace.